sadly. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where is it? So what I wanted to talk about first is that where is it? Dude, this Turning Point USA shit. TPUA. You guys are missing not having Charlie Kirk to. When's the last time they've had 1 million views? Oh my god, never. $10K, $18K, god damn. One day I'll be surpassing TPUSA.
The progression of...
Okay, I want to hear this kid's response, or this debate, because I haven't watched it yet, but I saw the student argues communism better aligned with Christian values than capitalism. I am so fascinated to see what they say, because I actually agree with them. I think Christian values, and especially like ones dictated in the Bible, like if you read them for what they are, they definitely lean towards more of a socialistic or communistic state of being rather than some sort of feudalistic capitalistic style living.
I believe that Christian ethics lead naturally to the progression of a communist society, because to me, as a Christian, you're taught to feed the sick, help the homeless, all of these things. These are things that are seen in communism. The idea of a capitalist structure is not, to me, once endorsed in the Bible. God never promotes wealth at the collapse of others. And then something that I wanted to fight.
True. There's not a single time that God or Jesus is like, yeah, dude, you need to have so much money that people are dying on the street while you're not, being able to live.
Back against on that was, you said Marxism promotes feminism, and I could agree that to some extent in the earlier years it did, but it's funny to me that the most extreme versions of feminism exist in democratic Western nations. You look at Russia.
Wait, is this kid... What? Wait, I'm so lost. Wait, who is this? Who is this kid? Is he arguing that feminism is bad while also saying that the Bible and communism are good? I'm so lost. I'm sat down right now. I'm sat.
That's crazy. Look at China. Feminism there isn't as crazy. Vietnam, same thing. Actually, most of the former communist nations, and even Cuba, you do see that feminism there isn't as crazed as it is in the United States.
Crazed? Are we saying feminism is a bad thing? Why are we saying this like it's a bad thing? Also, like, none of those are truly communist nations. We know this for a fact. We've known this.
Yeah, but aren't the women more oppressed there than anywhere?
I would say it's a flip of the coin, because if you
look
at the Soviet Union, for instance, women were allowed to hold political seats. There was more women in power. In fact,
yeah, but they were not treated the same as men. I promise you that.
Women pilots were common in the USSR long before they became a thing in the US military. So
I just feel like I could say, in Islam, there's no feminism. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, because they have no rights.
In the idea of saying that in the USSR, women did have rights, because if you talk to anybody who was from the USSR...
No, we're not doing the USSR. We're not defending the Soviet Union. Also, like, I don't think religion should dictate what people get rights and what people don't get rights. Yeah, I can't tell what point he's trying to make. That's why I'm kind of sat. I'm sat and I'm listening. I'm listening right now.
You know that women had paid maternity leaves, women had childcare provided by the state, and to some extent, a lot of workplaces...
No, they didn't. This is just not true. This is #untrue facts.
They would have communal kitchens, because the idea was if the woman is working, the child would be taken care of by the state, and then on top...
I do like the idea of a village. It takes a village, and I truly do believe that to a point.
But that the woman wouldn't have to come home and have to cook for the entire family, because you would be at work as a man, you'd get food there. So this was something that was done in communist nations. So I don't see that...
None of these were communist nations!
...that being very true. And another thing is like acceptance of homosexuality. I'd be like, to me, Western societies have accepted homosexuality far more than communist ones. If you're homosexual in Cuba, you get killed. Same thing in China.
Right.
In Russia, not promoted. The one Russian guy I know hates homosexuals like with a passion. I don't know why, but respect to him for that. And the degradation of the nuclear family, I would say it's kind of funny, because I was looking at the list of countries with the most single families, single parent households. America is near the top, and all the ones who are at the top are democratically aligned nations, And the ones at the bottom are countries like Poland, Slovenia, Slovakia, all USSR bloc countries, and then China has one of the highest rates of the nuclear family being persistent in any modern successful society, and they're communist. So I don't.
Yeah, but the people are not free. I wouldn't argue.
Oh man, I feel so bad for this kid. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Like this is the issue. Like they're gonna take people like him because he obviously has a misunderstanding of what communism actually is, or what a socialistic system would look like implemented within the U.S. and like how it would be good, and why Russia, China, and all these other nations that have always existed, except for probably exception of a few handful of budding politicians that were eventually killed off by the CIA, could have had successful outcomes. But besides that, we really haven't seen a successful or true communist nation, because there hasn't been a single nation where the workers own the means of production and there isn't a top capital class.
To put the people under a communist regime so that we could attain all of these goals. My goal is to shape culture, not force culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to point out the harm in a lot of these ways of thinking.
But you also want to like make it illegal to be trans.
And then cast vision for like men and for women of how we should live. And then
100 years ago, it'd be completely different than today.
and these things, it'll be a byproduct of like living the right way. So I don't think it's a good argument to install communism so that we could achieve families, so that we could achieve X, Y, and Z. Because, you know, if you're going to blame communism for the good, you need to go ahead and list all of the
This is why you don't say these nations are communist.
negative effects of communism. The reality is that
It's
we
one of
live
the same with fascism. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of these communist, in quotation marks, nations are fascistic in nature, leaning towards autocratic oligarchy countries. Like, that's all they are.
in a free country, but in the name of freedom, we are doing things that are detrimental to our lives. You know, the feminist ideology has convinced women that, you know, my great-grandmother, who was married to my great-grandfather, and they had a blackberry bush in the backyard and she'd make pies, they would convince her that she was oppressed because she was a stay-at-home mom and a wife, and that
Never a thing that's, dude. This is the damage that woke one did to us.
she needed to be liberated and go out and get a career.
No, she just needs to be able to have the ability to get it. Not that she has to. If you want to fuck someone and they be your stay-at-home partner and you provide a perfect life for them no matter what, and they're completely consenting in it, even though I'm not sure if you really can in that sense of living, but like, you know, two consenting adults and they're like, yeah, I'll be a stay-at-home parent or a stay-at-home partner and I'll do all the cooking and cleaning and X, Y, and Z while you make all the money. Like, yeah, that's fine between consenting adults, but there needs to be the ability for the option to be made, and if not, the option for it to be not made. No, they are 100% when people say like they can't exist separately is when I'm really annoyed. Oh, yeah.
So that the government could watch the children. Well, what's happening to the kids in the school system? They're being polluted and perverted and brainwashed. So I'm advocating for
Give me one example. Because I can give you a bunch of examples about slavery being whitewashed.
tradition, for going back to women. You know, yeah, you can work, but then there's going to come a day where I believe the greatest role that you could play is being a mother to the next generation. And
But in my opinion, the greatest role that you could play is being a father for the next generation. And while the mother works, you sit at home in a maid outfit and make me eggs, bitch.
the father being the one who provides. And that is true.
Provides, goes home, is envious of his wife who doesn't have a job and doesn't work. So he beats his wife and takes his anger out on him, or he takes his anger out on her and his kids.
Liberation. That's not oppression. So I reject the idea that communism is going to fix our problems. I think it obviously would bring more harm than good. I don't think anybody here wants to give up their rights.
Communism isn't. See, shit like this is so frustrating because people fundamentally misunderstand the way that communism, and like Shane Whittings, obviously he knows that he's lying, but people fundamentally misunderstand how communism is supposed to work. communism is objectively a shape of an economic system within a country where the workers own the mean of production. That's it. There's a little bit more nuance to it, but like that is the main thing what communism is. It's not a reshaping of how societal expectations are that comes with more liberty. This is why I'm a libertarian socialist, if anything. I don't want the government to be having any sort of control over people's ability to make choices for themselves that won't cause harm to themselves or others. And I want the government to protect and advocate, or like genuinely protect and be a shield for people's rights. But at the same time, I want the government to have, I want people to be able to do whatever they want while the government protects them. And at the same time, like I want the government to be a multi-party with no single person at the top of any party, no single strong man at the top of the country running the government, and having a redistribution of the wealth between the proletarian from the bourgeois.
I think we just need to change culture and what's important to us. We're a very selfish people at large, and we need to get our eyes off of self.
But then I would say to some extent and this is why I asked this too, the idea of freedom in America to me is very flawed because, one, I come from a nation where, if you own a house and you don't pay your tax for it, you don't immediately get raided by the IRS. So it's kind of weird.
That like doesn't happen.
To me in America,
Why are we taxes are good?
own a home, or supposedly, but if the government doesn't get its cut every single year, you're in
God, dude. Oh my God. What do you think happens in a communist country? You pay taxes, dumbass.
jail.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
questions asked.
that's just like financial, economical responsibility, though. And that's not being free. I mean, no one forced you to buy a house.
Okay, so on the flip side, if this idea of freedom has to exist in some type of means. If you don't have any money in America, you're more a person than honestly somebody in the USSR was in most cases, unless you're in the gulag.
But why are millions of people flocking here?
No, because
See, oh my God, look at this stupid fucking dumbass. This is why they hold the microphone, by the way, because if this kid knew what he was talking about and could actually present a reasonable argument that wasn't easily deconstructible at like the very, very bare minimum level, like it'd be so easy to deconstruct. Like I disagree with this kid. I could deconstruct his argument on multiple levels, bringing it down to his first principles, which I think are inherently flawed based off of what he's saying. If I was there, they would not let me hold the mic because the second I start saying something that makes too much sense, they take the mic away.
economic opportunity exists in the United
And that's me, but it could be literally anybody. They constantly take away the mic from people who know what they're talking about.
States, and I wouldn't doubt
Because
that
because they have the freedom to pursue economic possibilities and opportunities.
I don't see it as I don't think that's classified as a freedom because it's just
Nope, it's not a freedom. Here's the correct response to Shane here. He says they have the freedom to pursue those things, and if they don't, they're wasting that ability to have freedom. They're wasting that freedom to pursue it. My response is, I would disagree with the fact that they have the freedom to pursue those, while also agreeing at the same time. I think people have the freedom to choose what they have and where they want to go in life, but at the same time, there is no safeguards to protect people from even getting that start. If you're born homeless, you are born into a life that you have no opportunity to be able to live your life and choose what you want to. If you're an adult and homeless, you can't choose. You don't have the freedom to choose what you do and choose what way you make money, because a lot of jobs and ways of getting government documents that would require, or that jobs requires an address. A lot of homeless people don't have a permanent address. A lot of them can't even get one. And on top of that, getting a permanent address costs money. It takes money to have stability. And unfortunately, whatever circumstances led homeless people to getting there, the empathetic Christian thing would be to love them as you would yourself, love thy neighbor, pick them up, help them out, have the government provide some sort of subsidy for these people to get them on their feet so then they can start working. Everybody likes to work. There has not been a single study that's shown people, while giving the option to not work or work, people have shown that they prefer to not work. People enjoy doing labor. People enjoying doing stuff. Now, is it to the extent that we have now? Probably not. But we need to have some sort of social safety net for the most vulnerable around us.
Based on America's financial situation and how it's developed over the years.
In America, you can literally do anything you want that's not illegal. Like, you can become anyone you want. If you work hard, if you get the...
It's not true. It's objectively not true. There are many states that ban transgender healthcare.
right open doors. Like, that is the beauty of this country.
I can actually make a very good argument about that. If you're a naturalized citizen, you can't become the president. That's a literal fact. You were literally
Okay, I
barred from
can't become the leader of the country. I
Or
think
the vice
that's a
president.
good thing. But I'm talking about pretty much anything else.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? What's up?
But then I don't understand that, because why have that? I don't understand that whole system there even. So I
Why
guess to me, it's-
a foreign-born person can't be the
You just
president?
lost the game. No!
So I'll give a perfect example. I was born in Jamaica. I've been serving in the National Guard for 5.5 years, and I'm going up for OCS to become an officer.
Nice.
Thankfully, I'm a citizen born abroad. So
Don't let him find out about your communist ideology.
You'd be surprised.
You're not going to get a clearance, bro. I had a top secret clearance. You're not going to get one.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
I had a secret clearance, bro.
Because at the end of the day, if I have to live for something, I'd rather die for what I believe in than live for nothing or to live to please other people.
Sure.
But I think
I'm just telling you, don't expect to get promoted in the military as an officer believing that we should be a communist nation. Just from one former officer to maybe another future officer, not a good idea for the pipeline that you're going into.
Man, both of these are just smug assholes who don't understand why either of them are wrong. This shit pisses me off because it does nothing besides it presents this idea to like younger people, especially, that, oh, these people don't know what they're talking about. When like this kind of format needs to be banned. Like, no school should ever hold this kind of format, and if you do, you shouldn't have somebody who is working for the group hold the microphone. It should be a third party that's quote unquote neutral, even though people one way or another have an implicit bias.